Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dr. Kevin Show. Uh, Boy, that was a throwback. This is the Kevin Ross Emery Show with Ashley Oldstein. Uh, for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, and for my guest, uh, it was called the Dr. Kevin Show for about 10 of the 20 years it's been on, and we changed the name recently. So without Kevin Ross Emery with Ashley Oldstein, I'm lost.
Oh,
I'm going back in time. Oh no, it's Back to the Future. Uh, Speaking of Back to the Future and films we all love and the film industry, you may have noticed that there has been some pretty significant changes in films, in how we see them, how we get uh, brought into them, how they're shooting themselves. The film industry is always dancing with the cutting edge of technology and on one hand trying to make it more accessible to us, and on the other hand, if you're big and old and a dinosaur, you're just trying to shake us down for as much as you can make. It depends on which way you go.
sure.
Uh, Tonight, we are here with Hayden Craddolph. Hayden is the founder of Sembu, who we empower content owners through innovation. It's a revolutionary platform that allows users to manage, distribute, and monetize online video content. Sembu technology is playing a central role throughout the online film festival and will be a sponsor of the celebration in April, which in October. Boy,
October, yeah.
we're really going backwards here or forward. Maybe it was April 2025. Um, Whichever way, we're going to be talking a little bit about this upcoming film festival in October. Um, a little bit about Sembu, and I definitely have some questions as somebody who is a content creator. Um, so Hayden, the online film festival is October 25th to 27th. And if you want to know more about Hayden, you can go to haydenfilmsinstitute.org. Uh, and we're going to run this one for a little bit. This is where you go if you want to get tickets. So, Hayden, welcome.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me on your show tonight. This is a pleasure. I'm looking forward to having a great conversation about film content and distribution technologies.
Well, it's interesting. And this has been a long time considered spiritual show. So in the most spiritual language I can find, I love it when you can find that crossover, that you can be the cat house for both the pimp and the prostitute. uh
Yep,
that's my spiritual language speaking. uh
you're a
yeah.
sit-down comedian today. I like it.
I'm a sit down, a stand up, a rollover. I don't beg, but I have my limitations.
Sure,
So tell me a little bit. Let's start with a little bit of your history in the film industry.
sure. So, I mean, my story is very unique, just like any other filmmaker or producer or director. When I originally graduated from college, I was graduated with a finance degree, and then shortly after, ended up on Wall Street for a few years as a foreign exchange broker, which was a very exciting job. Right out of college, going into Manhattan for 2 years. But my passion always was watching films. My dad loved films, so we were just a film style family, and we always wanted to watch films. So I always had a passion for perhaps scratching that itch of being a director. But I knew I wanted to understand the process of what an actor would go through. And at the time, I really didn't want to go to film school per se. I just originally thought about taking some theater classes. And I went back to Kutztown University to take some theater classes. And they said, well, why don't you get your master's in telecommunications? I said, what the heck is that? That's what the name of the program was. It was since it then transferred into electronic media during my tenure. Went over, met with the program director at the time, Dr. Kinsfather, looked at the studio. I said, this place was here the whole time. Making a long story short, they offered me a graduate assistantship. I ended up coming back to school, taking some theater classes, taking different types of production classes in their studio curriculum. And I had a very, very unique project that was going to be a film project. I was going to create my own film that had a contest built within it, where filmmakers from around the world would actually submit their adaptation to certain scenes of my movie. And it was going to be way before the interactivity that we have today, and even the platform we're on right now. So my professors at the time, they loved the idea. However, that project converted from an independent film project of my own into the first online film festival in 2004, when we had our first call for entries. So it was a very interesting first 3 years being back at Kutztown, but we're now celebrating the 20th year of that first online film festival. Again, before YouTube, before Netflix, before all the different systems, we were working on our own proprietary software for distributing content 20 years ago.
And it was a very different world, and the technology has made huge leaps and bounds. How has the shift of technology helped you and hindered you?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. So initially, again, going back to the early 2000s, when I personally worked with a team of my own in-house developers, and we felt that the future of filmmaking and consumption of filmmaking were going to be on the small screen. We thought it was going to be on, desktops, laptops, mobile. And one person in particular that was pushing back on me, I remember some of those conversations around 2002. He said, none of this is going to work. None of this makes any sense. Why would someone, watch content on these small devices? And I really pushed back hard, and I said, you're 100% wrong. And that was just how I felt about it. Now, the one thing I didn't do at the time was we didn't focus on, user generated content like dogs mowing lawns or anything like that. I wanted to mainly focus on, film content from the best filmmakers from USC, NYU. So in that first year, when we had our first call for entries, no one understood why we were creating an online film festival when everyone's mindset at the time was brick and mortar. You go through a festival circuit, Tribeca, Tribeca wasn't there, and that happened after shortly after 9/11. But the big film festivals like the Cannes Film Festival, Tribeca, South by Southwest, everyone thought about the film festival circuit being butts in your seat, put your film on the big screen. Our model was different. Our model was, let's put them on the small screen first. Then once the data tells us what the audience believed was the best films, now let's take them to New York City to the Directors Guild of America Theater and celebrate them on the big screen. So we leveraged the technology to films online first and then put them on the big screen. So those early years was very troubling because we really got a lot of pushback. A lot of people didn't understand why. And then, fast forward, several years afterwards, the explosion of what happened with Netflix at the time. Netflix was, doing DVDs in the mail. And then, Blockbuster obviously had an opportunity to buy into, Netflix, but decided to pass on the deal. Look at what happened to Blockbuster. Look at what happened with Netflix. So we were really excited about the data that we ended up getting from our first 4 festivals, because that was the baseline to create Sembu, distribution your way. So the software company Sembu was a byproduct of those early film festivals.
So I'll get into Sembu in a minute. Well, I think it's very interesting because there were all of the major movie industry people, the Daniel, Zenick and Louis B. Mayer and all of the things that were telling their stars when TV started, oh, that's going to go away. Don't go down there. I mean, I feel like listening to you talk about 2004 was what happened in 2004 was something that happened in 1954, only it was movies versus TV.
Yep.
And we know what happened there.
Exactly.
And movies haven't gone away. I still love to go to a movie theater. I love to get the comfortable chair and have be. I mean, there's some movies, but the majority of my watching is on a TV screen or on a laptop screen, computer screen of some
Mm-hmm.
kind.
Yep.
So I find it an interesting parallel that whenever the new kid on the block is coming in, the dinosaurs try to crush them. Crush
That
your
is
head.
true.
Crush
Yep.
your head. You're old enough
Exactly.
to remember that, right?
Yep. For sure. I
Talk.
agree with you 100%. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
No, finish your sentence.
No, I
Sorry.
was just gonna say, I mean, I think, that is the whole thing is like, even when you go back even to the early years, late 70s, early 80s, when, the VCR came online, right? Really the VCR technology, the VHS was the product that was adopted, but really the Betamax was actually a better format, better quality. But for whatever reason, the community and the market picked VHS over the far superior Sony Betamax. So it's just the same kind of way right now. Then we transitioned out of that to DVDs, and those DVDs enhanced themselves to, better, Blu-rays and different technology like that. And then finally, it took a long time, but streaming finally got there. But now, what the studios are doing, and I think even other content producers, even such as yourself, is now, okay, do we want to keep giving away our content for free, or do we want to create systems that we can self monetize? And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of the third party platforms out there, the social media platforms out there, they are their own Goliath, and they're important as part of your digital footprint. But I personally don't think we need to give away all of our content to someone else so that they get to monetize it for the advertising dollars and everything like that, and decide what hoops you have to jump through to monetize your content. So I think this is a great time where we are right now with this kind of like, transition into more owner based, keeping ownership of your content, or if you want to create content libraries, it's an exciting time to be.
So now, as somebody who has created tons of content, from creating classes to I have put some of my classes on. I went through the Zoom platform to tape them when I was teaching them and then offering them secondary. But I'm just one of these I create content every day. It's like I can't help myself,
Yeah.
whether it's, a tiny little video or a poem or, working on a chapter in one of my gazillion books I'm writing. So, and I'm going to tell you, when, I've had this business for, well, it's coming up close to 35 years now. And at the beginning, I was very protective about my IP. I was just like, and they're like, well, you can't stop people from stealing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can't. I mean, somebody was, like, uh, you know, put one of my books into a foreign language and was selling it, and I was seeing none of the profits. It's like this shell game type of thing. Um, how so you're bringing it back to singing sweetly to me, because with social media, all of my advisors have been like, you just have to keep putting the content out. You have to keep on putting the content out, and you have to just meter it out enough so that when there's something to sell in your content, people are going to want to buy it. And I somewhat understand that strategy, and it's not going to go away. But I also feel that there's still inherently, and I want your opinion on this, people go, free content is worth free content.
Yeah.
And I still think when somebody puts some kind of commitment into it of some kind, that they pay more attention or are more open or willing to interact with the content and take it seriously. Agree, disagree, thoughts?
Yeah. So I think, the one thing that I disagree with a little bit on the constant development of content, because then you have like content creators, millions of them, all uploading thousands of pieces of content per hour. And so
Hmm.
the argument is you got to keep making content. You got to keep making content, and eventually something will, hit, and something will become viral. But really, what we're doing is we're pushing everything away from the internal brand. So if you look at it like a spoke of a wheel, right? Right
Hmm.
now, we're shooting everything out. What my philosophy is now with Sembu, and there's other companies that are doing stuff similar. We still believe we're definitely going to disrupt the space. Is that we want to teach people, content creators such as yourself, how do you launch your own Netflix environment? How do you have your full Netflix environment installed on your website? Not, embedded video players from third parties where you're only one click away from going down a rabbit hole and looking at someone else's content, where you can deploy a full library solution of all of Kevin Ross is libraries on podcast development. You can decide to have free content, freemium content, ad-based content, or you can activate a subscription model, very similar to like Disney Plus when it first came out, $4.99 per month. And then you put your micro content on social, you put your micro content on YouTube to push everything back to your ecosystem for your merch, your books, your other items, your classes, your training manuals, whatever. So I personally think that keep making content, but finding a hot house for that content. It's no different than if license Photoshop or Adobe, right? You're creating your own IP, your own magical IP, and then you can sell those manuscripts. You can sell a book. You can sell your video services. Well, it's the same thing. If you install a distribution technology on your own website and you upload your own content, which you have the copyright and the IP to some of your projects, you're just leveraging the software to distribute it. And then you don't have to worry about trying to fight the distribution game because it's a turnkey solution. And I'll say one last thing, and again, I don't want to badmouth one of the big Goliaths out there, but the one third party out there that allows everyone to post all day long. Well, if you want to monetize, you got to get 1,000 subscribers. If you want to get the revenue share, you got to get 4,000 watch hours. And they make you go through all these different hoops. But you might already have a niche audience that's willing to pay for your content, willing to go to your platform and see it for free or for a nominal price. And that's what Sembu does. It allows you a turnkey solution on day one to monetize your content how you see fit. And then most
Yeah.
importantly, this one live stream right here, Sembu allows you, if you go up to an enterprise, you can concurrently have up to 50 concurrent live streams. So that means, Kevin, if you're doing this podcast right now or this live stream, maybe your colleague, Ashley, is over in California and she's doing her other live stream. You're doing 2 live streams simultaneously pumping to your website. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. And I just think that distribution systems that content creators should be looking for is one that gives them as much under the hood that they can do to monetize and tell great stories.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to just as a clarifying comment, I I create constantly am creating content, which does not mean I'm constantly actually putting it out on the web. I just am one of those people that's just always creating content. I
Yeah.
sometimes it just sits there. It's in files. It's on
Hmm.
bookshelves. You know, at this point, I have like 22 books out, but I got 37 others I'm working on. So this is of I need as a content creator in the original kind of meaning of the term before social media hijacked it. I just always am creating IP stuff. I need an easy way to take it and put it into something that does everything with it, and then I can make money off of it. Because I started getting, I'll say it, I mean, I started getting more followers on TikTok, and They, and I was starting to get passed around a little bit. Wasn't hitting any big numbers, but I was steadily growing. And then they decided they didn't like my lighting and they wouldn't share my stuff anymore. And there was nothing I couldn't do. And I was like so frustrated because I was watching my numbers go up. People were really grooving into some of the TikToks I was doing. I was starting to do it, and TikTok completely shut down because it wasn't at the same quality like a commercial, I'm guessing. And I
Hmm.
don't have that tech that, I don't have a studio and I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not a 20 something where all of those gadgets become automatic to me and I can run 10 simultaneously. So I look fake, like I'm on a movie screen.
Yeah.
I look real.
Yeah, and that's good. And there's a lot of people that want that type of authentic content. And you have your own opportunity to grow your own audience of authentic consumer. There's like younger consumers that like, all the filter based content, fast edits. But I think there's an audience. There's enough of an audience for everyone out there. And I think what the consumers are telling the world now is that they're fine with looking for what they want to find. And if that happens to be, your TikTok series or your long form content, there's enough content to go around. But again, going back to what I said earlier, I just hope that some of the content creators, you have that, say, 1 to 5% that are the ones that are the influencers, and they're getting a big portion of the, sponsorship dollars from some of these bigger third parties. But there's enough medium size and emerging, you know, um, creators and library owners that can also take advantage of their content right now.
So now tell me what is um going so like I do this on a thing called StreamYard.
Yep.
Simbu um Simbu like how does that compare with um like StreamYard? I mean, is Simbu something that I could use like I use this? Tell me more about Simbu. Take that apart for me.
Yep. So let me break Sembu apart for you. So Sembu is not a destination website. None of your followers right now, or none of your listeners or viewers, go to Sembu to actually watch content. So let's say, for example, and Sembu is more initially right now more of a B to B platform. So let's say, for example, you are a university, and the university has 1,000 basketball games, or all of this content that it's collected or curated over the last 20 years of their existence, with different theater classes, theater performances, graduations, basketball games, track and field, whatever. And they can take all that content, upload it to Sembu. Then the content is hosted by Sembu, but the Sembu technology allows you to deploy your own Hulu, your own Netflix, your own Amazon Prime on their website. So let's say kevinross.com, right? kevinross.com. I would
Kevin
go to
Ross Emery. Kevin Ross Emery. Go ahead.
kevinrossemery.com. Then what we would do is they would go to your website, and all the content that they would see in that library solution would be the Sembu technology. So it wouldn't be little Sembu players or YouTube players embedded. All that content would be coming from your Sembu dashboard. And then if you want to add live streaming, if you want to add sponsorships, or if you want to add pre-roll ads or banner advertising, you can do all that in your Sembu dashboard. And then last but not least, if you want to add a payment to certain content, like if you go to Netflix, when Netflix first came out with their streaming, it was $7.99 per month. Well, you can layer that payment onto any of your content that you see fit by saying, I want to activate my managed payments. So you go into Sembu, your dashboard, and you press one button that says manage payment. And then you can layer a payment on top of your content, on top of some of your playlists or your library. So again, It's a B2B software as a service. It allows video library owners the ability to control, monetize, and distribute that library while keeping 100% of the ad revenue.
Okay. So we have a question from one of our viewers. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's sembu.com, right?
Sembu.com, correct.
Okay. But when somebody, let me find, there we go. Sembu.com. We empower content owners through innovation. Okay.
And if they want to, and later on, once we talk about the festival a little bit, if they want to actually go to the festival, they can see Sembu technology in our online film festival. And we'll be talking about the 3-day celebration in Reading, but they can actually go see Sembu in action on our festival page.
And now, Film Festival, October 25th to 27th. And the name of the festival is actually is the online film festival, right? Is that
Right.
okay?
So let me just make sure your audience knows this one more time, because this is sometimes confusing. So the Hayden Films 5.0 online film festival already kind of happened. The film festival is already live before this upcoming weekend in a few weeks. The Hayden Films 5.0 online film festival celebration is between the 25th, 26th, and 27th. So that's where on the 25th, red carpet experience, 26th, panel discussions all day long. And then the 27th is where we'll have film screenings of approximately 30 films. And then we'll have an award ceremony on Sunday night. And that's when we're going to give out $25,000 for the best short film. You can see all the content still right now on our website. That's the online component, but we're taking the content offline on the 25th through the 27th.
Okay. So when they get a ticket, the ticket for these 3 days means they can watch everything that's on there for the price of the ticket.
Yeah. So again, that's why this is so unique. Anything that they watch online, they have 3 choices. There's $1.99, $4.49, and $4.99. They can go watch content right now. Right now it's still up, so it's kind of like in an encore mode. The tickets for the October 25th, 26th, 27th, that's all in-person events. It's a VI party. It's like a 3-day festival, brick and mortar experience. You can go watch content now if you want and enjoy it right now, powered by Sembu. But the event on October 25th, 26th, and 27th is a real 3-day event. Red carpet experience where you're going to meet sponsors and filmmakers and myself on the 25th, 7 to 9. Then there'll be an after party all day on the 26th. That is where there's going to be tons of panel discussions throughout the 26th. And those panel discussions are going to be if you're a filmmaker or if you're an actor, an actress, or anyone, there's going to be like a film idea, book to screen. Film in the can on the screen. There's going to be an acting panel. There's going to be how to get your film funded panel. So there's going to be all these panels, and that's going to be at Alvernia University. And again, you can see the schedule off of the Hayden Films Institute website, haydenfilmsinstitute.org. Just scroll down to the left, you'll see the schedule. You hit the right button up there, you can watch some of the online content now. And then Sunday, you'll get to see all the different films that we've handpicked to be part of the in-person viewership at the Miller Center.
So you mentioned what was the name of the?
It's Alvernia University.
Alvernia. Okay. I have no idea where that is. What city and state are we talking about?
So we're talking about Reading, Pennsylvania. So if you put up the ticket link right there, if you have that tickets link, for your viewers to check out the tickets. I know it's a little confusing. There's the tickets right there. So for those that are out there listening, the ticket link that you see scrolling by here is for the 3-day in-person event. In Reading, Pennsylvania. It's going to be Alvernia University, and it's going to be at the Miller Center. But there's going to be a VIP event that there's tickets available for. There's going to be in-person events if you just want to come to one thing on Saturday for just panels. If you want to buy a day pass to watch films, this ticket link right here is everything for the 3 days.
Okay. So I'm going to actually change that to represent, because somebody will tune in and I want them to see where it is, because obviously, oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Here we go.
Yep.
Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I mean, it makes a difference. I've had my radio show for 20 years and I literally have viewers all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's not going to be interested in a ticket that's living in Manchester, England, but still might be interested to checking it out on the website, because that's
exactly
the internet.
Because the great thing about our in-person October 26th events in Reading, Pennsylvania, those events will be live streamed onto the Hayden Films website, powered by the Senbu technology. So obviously, our goal is to see as many people in the tri-state area in person. But for those that can't make it, and those that are from your worldwide audience, they would go to the HaydenFilmsInstitute.org website, click the film festival link, and then they can see all the panel discussions for those that want to see those panels for an affordable price.
When you say that if you have Senbu.com,
mm-hmm.
which you give me all these places to switch to.
Yep, exactly.
Go to Senbu.com. So when you say that if you connect Senbu up with your website, if I connected up with Kevin Ross Emery, and I'm in discussions right now of creating an AI bubble and having a membership only site, and these literally are my current conversations with my extended team about this whole idea of monetizing more of my IP. You
exactly.
said you could live stream, but the live stream appears off of your website. Is that correct? Where does a live stream appear? Where do people go to see them?
So that's what I'm going to try to break down. I know this is, and we're educating the community right now. So the live stream will be on your website, kevinrossemery.com.
That's what I thought.
No one ever goes to Senbu to watch anything. The only thing you do at senbu.com is manage all your stuff. It's a managed hub. Think of it as you're going to Adobe Premiere Suite. You're going to Final Cut Pro. You're going to Photoshop, where you're creating something. When you're done creating it, you don't send someone a link to go to your Adobe Creative Suite to look at it. You send them a PDF in their email, right? You post that PDF on your website. The Senbu technology, you license the software. The technology is installed on your website that gives you a full live streaming dashboard, live streaming cards, VOD solution. It gives you a full Netflix. Just think about you having a Netflix company installed on your own website, an Amazon Prime company, a Hulu, Apple TV on your website. That's what Senbu allows you to do, to deploy a full Netflix environment on your own website.
Okay. So then my challenge is.
So I looked at, God, I'm sorry. I was going to say just real quick, because I think I just want to say one point, and then this might tie into your question. I was already on your website and I looked at your shop and I looked at everything. The one thing I didn't notice is you don't have a VOD library. If you had a link that said videos, or whatever you want to call it, media, videos, you would click that. It would open up a page, and all of the content, however you would have it displayed, would be the Senbu technology on your website for your consumer to enjoy it in the future.
Yeah. I like, this is now the Kevin Ross Emery show. instead of the Dr. Kevin Show. I went through a major rebranding in the last 12 months, and that media tab is scheduled to be added. But there's been conversations because you house it on YouTube or do you hide it on Vimeo?
Vimeo. Yep.
Yeah. Um, and this sounds like it's like more of a Vimeo on steroids. And let's make something perfectly clear. I live by the principle, if it's not my joy, it's not my job. So I do nothing technical. My people won't let me touch the back end because they're very intelligent and I would fire them if they did.
Yeah.
I would screw it up. So I may misspeak when I say this, but it sounds to me like it's kind of like a Vimeo on steroids. Would that be fair or am I
Yeah.
way off?
So Vimeo has two versions of Vimeo. They have Vimeo, which is very complementary to YouTube, where you upload content, and Vimeo is used a lot by some premium content creators. But then they have what's called Vimeo OTT. So Vimeo OTT is the closest to Sembu.com. So Vimeo OTT allows you to, install Vimeo technology on a website. Where we feel we're different is that out of the box, you get an ad server where you can sell advertising. Out of the box, you can really have multiple managed payment solutions. And out of the box, you have up to 50 concurrent live streams, where Vimeo OTT has you limited to 2. So I would recommend any content owner, do your research, check out some other, OTT platforms. And if those OTT platforms allows you to install the software, that's great. Check them out. We hope, because of our partnerships with a few different film festivals using Sembu now, and with other, we have a podcast company, we have a university, we have a whole wide range of use cases that prove that our technology is really going to scale not only our company, but scale the companies and the IP and the stories that you guys are telling, and allow you to have a turnkey solution to monetize that content straight away. So again, nobody goes to Sembu.com. It's not a destination. It's a management hub.
Yeah. I get that. I get that part of it. I was my next slide move was, which means my people, my social media people, whoever, are going to need to promote when I'm going to be live on my website, because it's not going to show up in a feed somewhere. Like,
Yes.
I moved to StreamYard because in my old format, actually, I was at a different radio station, and I've been through a few radio stations in my history, and they weren't providing a visual, and I felt like visual was the future, and
Exactly.
so also they didn't have this ability that StreamYard. So I just took my show, I was with them 6 or 7 years, no hard feelings or anything. We just felt like our time together had ended, and I left that particular station. And I decided to go completely online because I could do this. Your people are seeing it on your LinkedIn. My people are seeing it on my LinkedIn. It's being seen on YouTube. It's being seen in a couple of different places of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So people that might just be scrolling would get, like,
Exposure. Exactly.
by it.
Yeah. So Sembu has some of that on our roadmap. Right now, our main focus over the first year of development of our technology was on the live streaming capabilities, the concurrent live streams, the VOD, the monetization, the ad server. But in the 2025, we have a lot of different things that are going to be coming out on the roadmap. Sembu Marketplace, and then of course some of the integrated syndication that you just discussed, right? So we're going to have syndication out to all the third parties on social media. But inside your Sembu installation, we're going to have clipping tools. So if you had a long form recorded piece like this piece right here, it would be in your recording hub, and you'll have different clipping tools that you can then leverage from, if you have an in-house agency or an outside agency, that would then clip some of that content and, turn it into social media clips. But the real differentiator is the complement of the monetization that we've spent so much time, that gives you the capabilities, free, ad-based, and subscription-based. You have that complement on all of your content, which I think differentiates us from some of the others that are out there.
Good. I mean, I know I've got one of my team people actually watching this, who does work for me, has done work for me for several years, used to work for me directly, and now does work kind of with me, more contractor, but who also is a filmmaker and a director and a producer. And I was like, you need to watch this. You need to get on and watch this show.
Yep.
So, but the rest of my team, I'm going to send the recording to, because I know we're in discussion. And part of my team is saying, we really want you to go off YouTube because you don't keep the intellectual property rights on YouTube. Or there's some loophole there. And they've been pushing towards, we could do something with Vimeo, but I definitely want them to, I'm assuming it's talk to you.
I would love to have the opportunity to do a full demo with your team. I would, again, encourage not only your open audience, but I would encourage your team to go to Haydenfilmsinstitute.org now, so they can see the technology for the film festival. Get yourself a $1.99 ticket, see the festival technology. I mean, Hayden Films is using it for the festival, right? But a podcast company, any educator, anyone that's looking to create a masterclass, right? A masterclass that supplements maybe a book that someone's written, or a series of books. So we're working with an author right now that he has he's created a 10-part series masterclass of content that's about 30 minutes in length. And then, of course, he has his book and his workbook, and it's all one ecosystem. But he's able to create those different price points, leveraging the Sembu technology. And then he does micro content on YouTube and social to drive traffic back to the long form stuff.
Now, but he is doing all of the taping for his own content. Sembu doesn't get into helping him actually produce content.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't, Sembu doesn't personally, but our other company does. So Hayden Films Agency, we have a full service agency that we will do web designs, social media management, video production, live streaming services, where we then will help companies. Obviously we have clients all the way down to Florida and out in Los Angeles, but you can work with an agency, leverage the Sembu technology so that you can get that, really good production value, or you can leverage, systems like this. Your StreamYard right here communicates with Sembu. Zoom communicates with Sembu. So what happens is, it's called a custom RTMP output code. You would connect that to Sembu. But this interview right now is going on social, but is it going to your website right now? So right now it's going to social, but it's not going to your website. You can connect Zoom or your StreamYard to Sembu through a custom RTMP that pushes out that feed automatically over to your website. And then Sembu would convert that recording so that you can, cut it up, or you can push it to VOD in the future. So depending on how you want to do it, it works with a lot of other interfaces as well.
So I'm gonna just regurgitate, so to speak, to make sure I'm clear, because
Yep.
I'm the primary voice for my listeners. Plus, I'm personally interested, so it's a double win. I get to grill you
Yep.
and call it a radio show.
I love it.
So,
and I can bring it down in layman's. I'm so used to talking about it more from a technical standpoint, but that's why I try to make it clear that you can launch your own Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I mean, I love your tagline with Sembu. I'm even going to throw it back up. We use the word empowerment a lot in my business, and in a lot of my stuff. And so In fact, one of my taglines is empowerment is the power to be uniquely who you are without apology, because that's the part people miss. When we become empowered, they expect us to apologize for it because the disempowered people are uncomfortable. And that's what we have to get over. We have to invite people to join us in being empowered. So, side diatribe, excuse me. But so I really like we empower content owners through innovation. So when I take out all of the alphabet salad of the MVXQR goes into the TYZ blah and does this, let me try to see if I can say it back to you in a simple language and you can tell me if
Sure.
I'm right or wrong.
Yep.
Because my tech person is in heaven going, oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, I understand that.
Yep.
A lot of my viewers who have maybe spiritual businesses like I do are going, why don't they speak English?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I could be putting something out like I am now live on Facebook, but at the same time, stream it on my website, grab the content on my website, be able to edit and clip it through a program on Zimbo. So
Sembu.
Simbu,
Yep.
that I could, Simbu, I could grab a clip and Simbo would help me make a clip. And I can then use that as micro content on social media, which then allows me to start to promote people to maybe come off Facebook or LinkedIn and move over to just being able to go to my website to see it, type of thing.
Yep.
Am I getting the flow correct?
You are. You are. You are getting the floats correct. I'll use one. Let me try to use one more analogy, and I'm just using a popular podcaster. So Joe Rogan, in his
Mhm.
early years, did thousands of podcasts exclusively on YouTube. All the content was on YouTube, and he was killing it. He was getting a lot of viewership, and he was part of the creator fund, and he was getting, his cut of the pie from the advertising dollars. But because of how successful his content was, he took a bulk of it off of YouTube and syndicated it through his licensing deal with Spotify. So Spotify then said, "Hey, bring all your content." So right now he has selected long form pieces on YouTube, but most of his content on YouTube are clips to drive traffic where back to Spotify, where all of his fans are watching and listening to the bulk of his content now on Spotify. So, and we're not comparing ourselves to those types of platforms yet, but in essence, the same concept: micro content on YouTube, and then your goal is to drive traffic to your long form content and get them in that funnel of understanding your other products and services. And even if you're talking about like, a spiritual, and I know, especially during the global pandemic, a lot of churches, and we had a client, we represented 93 churches from a diocese in Pennsylvania. And one of the things that they were struggling with at the time, because you couldn't have in-person gatherings, is how do we get our message to our parishioners, right? And so, yeah, a lot of people were using Zoom and they were using, YouTube and things of that nature. But again, what we're saying is you can do all that through Sembu as well, right? And then there's all types of other types of programming that you can bundle in with your live stream. So your live stream right now is, like, to your point earlier, Kevin, is very organic, authentic, but maybe eventually you might want to use that authentic content to be the driving force to your brand. But once they get there, they might see a 10-part series that is more produced about whatever you're educating, maybe on radio management or whatever the case may be. So my point is, for your listeners and your team alike, distribution your way is another tagline for Sembu. I would be more than happy to meet with your team. I'd be more than happy to meet with anyone that your listeners have. You can DM me at Hayden Films. You can find us on Sembu. You can fill out a content form. Lots of ways that you can reach out. And I would be my pleasure to really walk you through in a very laboratory way, answering more questions from your tech team. And then hopefully while you guys come up with some good ideas on how you want to monetize your content. And I'd be happy to have that conversation with you guys.
So I want to go back to a point you said before and make sure I heard it correctly. Um, and when we license Sembu, um, then we would be able to use your advertised package component type of thing, and we keep
A
100%
hundred
of the
percent.
ad revenues? Yep, okay.
100% of the ad revenues, because we're giving you the tool. We're going to be giving you an ad server so that you can sell your own advertisements. In 2025, fourth quarter of 2025, we're going to have our own Sembu ad manager where different types of advertisers, let's say, for example, you have Gatorade and they want to advertise with 25 different high schools or colleges. Well, they can go to the Sembu interface at that point and see what different universities have opted in to be part of that ad manager system. But the universities would still have the ability to say, yes, I approve that Gatorade commercial, versus on some of these other third parties, they just put whatever ad they want on there. And so if you're, a university, a Catholic university, or maybe even a different content creator, you don't want just different content or advertisements on top of your content. Once you embed those videos leveraging third-party providers, you don't know what ad you're going to see on your library. With Sembu, you have full control over what advertising units are going to be seen, and that's where the 100% comes into play, where you can sell your own advertising who you see fit. Could be a local car dealership, could be a local a law firm or a pizzeria, or whoever you feel is the right fit for your content. Sembu gives you that ability to sell those ads the way you see fit.
Okay. So there's something that you said, and I may not have it correct in my head. Uh, I'm going to put that right up front. Um, it is there a it will Sembo have its own version of like geo fencing for targeting, or is that something that we would bring to the party?
Yeah. So yes, Sembu will have a lot of those different capabilities. We're going to have an advanced custom analytics package that you're going to be able to leverage to, be able to sell the data, because it'll be your data, right? It'll be your player data. So one of the things that we look forward to doing is, how does that player data help you monetize those ads, right? And then, so as far as geofencing is concerned, there will be a lot of different ways for you to leverage future iterations of Sembu, because your dashboard is going to constantly upgrade. That's the great thing about software as a service. So like if you look at Salesforce, or you look at certain different platforms, when there's an update on your phone, iOS, you get the update, you get the bugs, you get bugs fixed, but also you get new features. So Sembu is going to be constantly growing, and then those features are going to go back to the publishers and the content creators like yourself.
Okay.
I just put another short video, a 1-minute video in the chat for you to look at later, or if you want to share with your team. That's a 1 minute. It summarizes everything we just spoke about. But I'd like to just close, if I may, because I know we're running out of time. I definitely want to, just again encourage, all of your listeners from a October 25th to 27th perspective in the tri-state area, 3-day fantastic event, red carpet VIP experience on Friday at Alvernia University, panels all day on Saturday, various topics that you can either participate in person or eventually online at haydenfilmsinstitute.org. And then on Sunday, we're going to be showing films all day, different blocks, family films in the morning. And then it's going to culminate with another a reception at the end of the night, 7 o'clock, or an award ceremony reception where we give out $25,000 for the best short film. So obviously the tickets are right there. We would love to see everyone. And if you happen to be a student or independent filmmaker, and if you want to DM us at Hayden Films, we'll give you a special discount code.
Okay. So, okay. So I'm going to ask the dreaded question: is Simbu what's the kind of price range? Is it something you license monthly? You don't purchase it, you don't own it, you just
Yeah.
license it, correct?
So we have three price points. So we have a premium price, which is $75 a month, and that's comparable to a premium Vimeo account. Then we have a professional account, which is $250 per month. That gives you 2 concurrent live streams. And again, all the full complements of the ad server, the managed payments, and everything like that. And then, of course, we have the enterprise um, uh, um, package, which is always a custom package. So, for example, we're working with a university right now that has over 4,000 pieces of content. So there's a much larger commitment to the Sembu team to actually launch that platform in a custom manner. So that price point will be a custom based on the needs, how many live streams they want, how many other additional custom features do they want in their installation. So the 2 premium and professional is out of the box, do it yourself. Enterprise is a custom solution for enterprise clients that have very large libraries, like a film festival that might have been around for 20 years, or a university that has thousands of pieces of content.
And I'm taking it that that would be something that would be costed out based on the content size.
Yeah, be costed out on the content size, costed out on how many live stream capabilities do they want to have. So if they're a sports company like one of our clients, sometimes they'll do 10 basketball games at the same time. So that's 10 concurrent basketball games for a large basketball tournament that he does in the summer. So different price point, because live streaming right now, and one last thing for your audience, Disney, Hulu, Netflix, they're all powered by AWS. AWS is kind of like the cloud storage system. We built Sembu on AWS as well. So we built it on the same system that Disney, Hulu, and Netflix was built on. That really gives us that scalability and allows us to do, really scale to whatever audience size you have, and up to 50 concurrent live streams if you have, a very large organization that wants to have multiple events at one single time.
So I want to thank you for coming on. I feel like there may be a few conversations we might have again on a future radio show, but
Sure.
after your film festival, maybe when you have your next thing you're trying to promote, you reach out to us and we can talk about that. And at
Sure.
that point, if you've sweet talked my team and we get Simbu, then I can, also rave about it or.
Yeah. Well, what I'd
But
like to do, I'm going to send you an email tomorrow morning. I'll send you an email personally, Kevin, with a special Hayden code, where you would be my guest to honor you and your team. I would love to have you guys come down, see Sembu in action at the university. So if you guys want to come down, meet our team and meet all of the different stakeholders of our partners and our companies, we would love to have you. But I'll send that email. Feel free to share it with your colleagues and your in-house partners and everything like that. And we'd love to see you guys for those 3 days. Or pick
okay.
one day and come on the day that best suits your schedules.
Yeah, we would. So we can talk about it. I have both an outside consulting creative agency that, like I said, did all the rebranding. The website has really rolled everything over. And now 30 plus years of content, I got DVDs, I got CDs, I got the
Yeah.
books, and I've got my classes and blah, 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 blah. So,
Well, we've built a Sembu briefcase, so you can give us all that content, and the Sembu team will upload it to your Sembu installation and take care of that for you.
okay.
Yep.
So I want to good luck on your festival. October is a busy month for me because besides doing this and my full-time client practice, it's psychic fair month. So I'm at a
Yes.
psychic fair every weekend doing psychic readings.
Very nice.
And speaking of which, this Saturday, October 12th, at Seabrook, at the Seabrook Recreation Center from 11 to 4. Excuse me. From 11 to 4, Seabrook, New Hampshire. I'm going to be at Gigi's Psychic Fair offering readings. So please stop by, say hello, let us know that you came because you heard about it here on the podcast, the radio show. And Hayden, we'll be in touch. We'll be having more conversations.
For sure. All right, everyone. I really appreciate it. And Kevin, it was great talking to you and your audience.
Okay. Have a good night.
You do the
Namaste.
same. Bye-bye.